Good morning. This time we really are starting. It's kind of weird when it gets quiet. I like the chatter a little bit more, but I will take it in case you want to hear what I have to say. So good morning and welcome to, this is our 7th annual Purple Ribbon Breakfast. And mostly thank you for being up here so bright and early. I know it's early for a lot of you, some of you probably not, but we appreciate it. I am Carrie Clark, and I'm the Executive Director of Alternatives to Violence and your guide for today. We've got a mix of familiar and new faces with us. I love this day because I get to see people I don't see for a long time who come in. So thank you, and whether you're a repeat attendee or a first timer, we're happy to have you here. Every minute, 24 individuals find themselves in harrowing situations facing physical, sexual, or emotional abuse from someone they once trusted. Since I began speaking, another 24 lives have been disrupted by violence. It's not just a statistic, it's a call to action. Today, we gather not only to speak out, but to drive real change and deepen our understanding of these grave issues. By bringing these conversations into light, we can better identify the warning signs and work together to break the cycle of abuse. We're honored to have some special guests with us this morning. I had on here originally to welcome our mayor, Jackie Marsh, but unfortunately, Jackie is feeling under the weather and can't be here this morning. But if you see her, thank her at some point. She is so supportive of this organization and going through things in the past, so we wish her a speedy recovery. We also have County Commissioner Jody Shattuck McNally. We are lucky to have Magistrate Dina Christiansen, too, which is important to us. We want our judicial system really to understand what goes on. So thank you, Dina. We appreciate you being here. Chief of Police, Tim Duran, who is also very supportive and hasn't missed a breakfast yet since he's been chief for a little over a year. But we're happy to have him. He's also always willing to talk when we've got something to discuss. So thank you, Chief. And he is joined by some other heroes at our table as well. So from the Loveland Police Department and Thompson Valley EMS, we couldn't do our job without you all, unless you have other superpowers you haven't told me about. But thank you all for what you do in the community. I also want to give a big shout out to our sponsors. We have Bank of Colorado, James Act Consulting, First National Bank of Omaha, also known as FNBO, Harmony Skin and Wellness, Norson Medical, Realities for Children, Seder Tools, Rose Flowers, who did these beautiful arrangements. And I just want to give a shout out to Rose because they are always here for us and others in the community, and really a great support in the community. The Women's Clinic of Northern Colorado and UC Health. Can we give all those great sponsors a hand? Thank you all. You make it possible for us to keep the lights on and the doors open at our safe house, so we really appreciate each of you, and you'll see the signs at the tables for our sponsors. And let's kind of move on. The other people I want to thank are our table hosts. So at each table, there's a table host who probably invited you to be here today, and that means that they really care about this organization. So thank you to all our table hosts. We have a lot, so I can't thank you all by name, but know I appreciate you and the support that you give to this agency and how you believe in us. And just thanks for spreading the word and bringing new friends. I also want to give a round of applause to our board of directors. Their support is the wind beneath our wings, figuratively speaking, of course. Board members, please stand up, and you can get mad at me for that later, but stand up now, all of you. Thank you. We'd clap for you longer, but we need to save some energy for the rest of the morning. And by the way, I'd also like to say happy birthday to our board president, Allison Seebeck, who's sitting right down here. Happy birthday. I won't make everybody sing to you, although it was very close possibility. So if we're done and you see Allison, wish her a happy birthday and feel free to sing happy birthday to her. She'll love it. And to our staff and volunteers, some of who couldn't be here today because they're holding down the fort, thank you for everything. Your commitment is what makes this mission possible. If you're in the room, can you please stand up? Staff members, volunteers, don't be shy. Stand up. I see you all. I see them smiling back there, so for you who are smiling today, your secret to always staying positive is safe with me. We won't tell anybody else. It's not easy work for these guys, so we appreciate everything they do, and I think if you run into them, you'll see they always have a smile on their face. Together, we're a force against violence, so thank you for bringing your energy and support this morning. Now let's make this event a stepping stone for greater change. Let's enjoy the breakfast and let's get started. We're going to start out. One of the primary reasons we've gathered today is to deepen our understanding of the work we do at Alternatives to Violence and the pressing issue of violence within our community. In just a moment, we'll watch a compelling video that follows one woman's transformative journey. With the support of advocates, she was able to heal, reclaim her independence, and restore her sense of self-worth. Let's get ready to be inspired by her story.
Someone once told me, "Look at how lucky you are. Your house is so beautiful." But to me, this house had become a prison. My husband controlled everything. I couldn't wear makeup, and he chose my clothing. I was strictly forbidden to ever wear the color red. My family lived in another country, and he kept me away from them. He tore up my mother's letters in front of my face. My mother thought I was dead. I couldn't smile at anyone or look anyone in the eye. The children couldn't have birthday parties or go outside. He told me he'd take them away from me if I ever tried to leave him. He said, "You'll never make it on your own. You don't know English. You don't have a job. You're too stupid." I and my children were punished if we got sick. Sickness was a sign of weakness. The first act of violence came the day I came home with our second son. He came to me as I was struggling to nurse him, and he struck my face. He said, I failed him because I couldn't feed his son. Things got worse, and I just knew he was starting to think of killing me. I hid the knives and scissors, but he found another way. I knew that the boiling water was meant for me. That is the night I took my children and went to the shelter. When you're stepping away from abuse, you need so much support. Alternatives to Violence is a safe place to heal and begin again. Today, I wear the color red, a lot. I wear red for special occasions, and I even got remarried in a red wedding dress. No one will ever control my life again but me. I got my GED, my master's, and my PhD. I know I am worthy. Abuse doesn't define who I am. It's been a tough journey, but Alternatives to Violence is there for people like me to help us turn our lives around. Alternatives to Violence gives us hope.
So now it's time to see how well you understand the key ingredients of a healthy relationship. We like to do these tests during this to see what people know because frankly, there's a lot of misperceptions going on in violence and it's a good educational opportunity. So I want you to join me in welcoming two of our most engaging and beloved team members who are slowly making their way up here. They're not just experts in their fields, they also know how to make learning fun. Get ready for a memorable and insightful game hosted by Joey O'Brien in the dazzling purple jacket walking up here, and our who is our non-residential case manager, and Jillian Coleman, our non-residential program manager. Let's give them a warm round of applause.
Yes, the shoes as well. You can find him easy today. All right, ready? Yeah.
Okay, so on your table, you're probably finding some red flags and green flags. We're passing them out, okay. There's not necessarily enough red flags and green flags for everyone at your table, so it's a good opportunity to meet your neighbors, discuss, share flags.
Team effort.
Right.
Team effort.
If you were, played red light, green light with your kids, that's not what this is. Don't rush the stage. We will get terrified.
I will raise my red flag. Do not. But we're going to go through some scenarios. For those who don't know, a red flag is a sign that a relationship is not going great, and a green flag is the opposite. It's a sign that a relationship is going great and that it's a good sign that things are going good and healthy.
So we're going to have some slides up on the different monitors. We're going to kind of paint a picture of what's going on, and then you'll have a moment to raise your flag on if you think if it's a red flag or a green flag.
All right, are we ready? We got the first one up there.
So in our first slide, we've got a couple eating some watermelon. They're hanging out. They're on what looks to be a date, right?
Pretty cute, pretty
Right.
cute.
And
I think this is their first date, right? And on the second date, she said, she told her partner that she does not like to take people back to her apartment right away. So it's nice to meet in public places. And then on the second date, instead, he has asked if he can come on over. So what do we think? Is that a red flag or a green flag? Ponder, collaborate. All right.
ooh, there's a lot of discussion.
A lot of discussion. I love it.
We've got a few green flags,
I know.
mostly red.
I'm seeing mostly red. It should be mostly red. We started with an easy one, you guys. Oh, those are coming. If you are holding a red flag, you are correct. If your partner does not listen to and respect your boundaries, that is not okay. Your good partner should be aware and considerate of any boundaries that you set in the relationship. So
Yeah.
what about that next one? It's up there.
In our next slide, notice we've got date number 2, and they're hanging out, and someone is saying, "You are the love of my life." Jillian, you're the love of my life.
You are the love of my life, Joey.
What do we think? Red flag, green flag?
I'm loving the roaring enthusiasm.
The laughter is great.
Oh yeah. Once they saw that date too, it was out.
It was over, yeah.
If you're holding a red flag, you are correct. This is what we talk to clients a lot about, especially our younger clients. This is what we call love bombing. It's basically overwhelming you with affection and attention, usually an attempt to manipulate you for further control over you. So this is a really big red flag.
You're doing great.
You're doing great. All right, it's up there now.
In our next slide, we have a couple sitting at a table having a cup of coffee, and the one person is saying, me and my expert, can we address his abhorrent grammar for any,
It should be me and I.
I mean,
It should be me and I.
me and my ex broke up because she didn't want kids. First, go to an English class. Just saying.
All right, what do we think though? Red flag, green flag? I'm seeing no flags.
We need some kind of flag.
I know.
You can discuss.
Hold them high up. Hold them high up. There we go. I'm seeing some mixed results.
This table, you can't ask Carrie for the answers.
That's true.
It's not allowed.
No cheating.
Okay, I'm seeing some green flags.
I know. I think y'all thought we were going to do all red, but I'm loving the discussion, the debates.
It's a healthy debate.
It is. It's a tough call. Some of these are toughies, you guys. We're not taking it easy the whole time. So if you are holding your green flag, you are correct. It might seem counterintuitive to talk about an ex in a relationship, but it can be healthy. Our past experiences let us learn relationships that we can take into future relationships to ensure that those are healthier. So this is a green flag. Oh, yeah. Oh, wow.
Wow.
We don't even need. Oh,
we're
yeah.
not even explaining it yet. They already got flags in the air. So, in this slide, we've got a couple sitting on the couch, and he says, me and my ex broke up because she was insane. Wow.
Wow.
Love the instant response.
Yeah, I was gonna say, y'all,
on it.
you took this one quickly. If you are holding up your green flag, you are incorrect. It is red. It is a red flag. Every relationship, it's a two-way street. So it's good. It's not a good sign if your partner is talking this negatively about a previous partner. At best, this is a sign of some pretty real immaturity.
Even if the previous partner was cray-cray.
Yeah, you gotta be nice about it.
Wait till several dates in to talk about that. In a respectful way.
No, that was it.
In our next slide, we've got a couple laying on a bed, smiling, laughing, and she says, we can only shop together since your fashion sense is so bad.
This is a tricky one. I'm excited to see. I do get all of my fashion advice from Joey. It's good luck. Ooh, a lot. Ooh, this is our first mixed one. Hold them high.
Oh, yes, the toe.
That's true. That's true. A lot of mixed results on this one. So if you're holding a green flag up, you are correct. We all have our flaws, and if you're able to laugh at each other's imperfections, that means you love each other in spite of those imperfections. Now, we will say, if the body language were a little different here, if it were a little more demanding, that might be a red flag, but they're laughing.
If they weren't both smiling and laughing and clearly having a good time, if one person is offended, then that would be a red flag, right? But since they're both having a good time, it's clearly a mutual joke between them. He doesn't have the fashion sense that I do, you know.
Not all of us do.
In our next slide, we have a couple, looks like maybe some angry faces there, and the one person is saying, what you said really hurt my feelings, and the other person saying, it was only a joke.
Oh, I love it. Table 22 back there was immediate. You guys are fast.
I'm seeing shy flags, very shy
I was
flags.
gonna say, hold them high and proud,
be-
y'all.
be proud.
Yeah. Purple ribbon, we're here. Let's do it. We're learning. All right, if you are holding your red flag, you are correct. It can be common to joke around with your partner, but if you're setting a boundary saying that, hey, that joke went too far, and if your partner is not respecting that, that is a very big red flag.
On our next slide, we see a cell phone that she's holding, and it says, hey, would you like to hang out? It was sent 1 minute ago, and she responds with, sure. Do we think green flag or red flag?
Let's ponder. We're pondering.
Hold them up in the air,
High
loud and proud.
Loud and proud.
It's early.
Okay.
If you can't get the flag up, drink another cup of coffee.
It's a tough call. Good debate going on.
I see a couple red flags.
Couple red, yeah. Yeah, some red ones out there.
Yeah, yeah.
So, whatever flag you are holding up, this one was the trick question. Yes, it was. You caught it. It really depends on the context and the boundaries that they've already been setting in that relationship and the communication that they both require from each other. So it could be a good sign, could be an iffy sign.
It's all about the context of this one. If they were to have a good conversation about these expectations and boundaries ahead of time, and it's understood that one person panics, makes sense, you know? But if it's a demand, if they're demanding for that quick response, that's not gonna be ideal either.
Little
And it would be
iffy.
a red flag. In our next slide, we have one person coming in the door, the other person clearly waiting with cell phone in hand, and it says, "I get anxious when you don't text back."
Oh, yes. I love the speed some of y'all are having.
The question is, did we pay attention and learn from the previous slide?
I was gonna say, we're building on lessons here.
I see a lot of
Alright.
red flags.
A lot of red out there. If you're holding your red flag up, you are correct. If your partner is reacting poorly because you had plans without them, this is a very possessive behavior. Personal space is very important in a relationship. A relationship should be two individuals who are in love. It shouldn't be all together all the time.
In our next one, we've got two people standing next to each other, one person clearly distraught, and the other person's putting an arm around him and saying, "I'm so sorry."
Hesitation. Lots of hesitation on this one, Joey. I was thinking it'd be quicker.
Ooh,
All
lots of
right.
discussion, lots of discussion.
A lot of debate on this side of the room.
There is. This side
No
of the room
one's
clearly had more
confident.
coffee.
Yes, exactly. They're ready.
They're amped up.
All right. If you are holding a red flag up, you're wrong. I like to keep you on your toes. So it is a green flag. Apologizing is not an easy thing, but it's a very important communication tool to keep in the tool belt. Now, you do want to pay attention to your partner to how your partner apologizes. Are they owning up to that mistake, or are they repeating that pattern?
And the actions behind that apology speak a lot louder than the words. So an empty apology doesn't mean anything. If it's an apology with merit and weight, and we see a change in the actions afterwards, that would be a green flag for sure. In our next slide, we see someone sitting in a chair, living room chair, playing the football, not American football,
Football.
otherwise known as soccer. And the bubble from the side is saying, "If you don't stop watching football, I'm not making dinner."
Man, Joey, from some of these laughs, I'm wondering if some of these people have said that to their partner.
Weird. Ah,
What do we think? Red flag? Green flag?
get them up there. We got to see them.
Get them up. I'm not seeing. Oh, this one's mixed results.
Ooh, I like it. Two flags at once over here.
Yes.
Love it.
Unsure. I respect it. We didn't want to make it too easy on you guys. We do this every year. All right, if you were holding a red flag up, you are correct. Ultimatums are not good for a relationship. It's not a good way of getting what you want or need. It's better to try to compromise, and if that doesn't work, then maybe that relationship isn't a good fit for you.
All right, that's it.
All right.
You all did very well.
You were graded.
You were
So-
graded. Carrie will hand out your report cards later, much, much later.
Yes. Next year, maybe. You want that?
Okay, thank you. Now I'd like to introduce our first speaker of the morning. Please welcome a tenacious advocate for victims' rights and a beacon of resilience. Surviving a harrowing assault during her college years at the University of Northern Colorado, Kimberly bravely transformed her trauma into a platform for change, educating on the importance of victim advocacy. She's not only a sought-after speaker on this critical issues, but also co-hosts a podcast that sheds light on living through and beyond trauma called A Survivor's Guide to True Crime. Join us in learning from her incredible journey and her unwavering commitment to empowering survivors. Please welcome Kimberly Corbin.
Thank you, Joey and Jillian. I didn't wear my pink sparkly shoes this morning because I thought, oh, it's 8 a.m. and clearly I should have, because those are the main character now. I love it. Thank you all so much for being here today. I've jokingly said I'm from the Weld County side of the line, so it's really nice to be joining you all over here. Thank you so much. I come to events like this, and I love looking out at the crowd and seeing so many people who are here not because somebody made them and not because it's their obligation, but because they care. They care about the people in their communities that you are helping. Like you heard, my name's Kim, and in 2006, a stranger broke into my college apartment, held me hostage for 2 hours, and sexually assaulted me. I had to lay there at 20 years old believing that was how I was going to die. And I wondered, what was the last thing that I said to my parents, to my brother, to my friends? Was anybody going to find me? And anything that I was thinking throughout that entire time was just that if I could stop this from happening to anyone else, that I could make this be something that's worth it. I'm in the statistic minority here. So I called 911 right away. I had a forensic exam done. I reported to law enforcement. This man was caught 3 weeks later. He was an actual complete stranger to me. He was prosecuted and convicted and is currently still in the Department of Corrections here in Colorado. Thank you. But I want you to imagine this as a funnel where you have my victimization, but there are so many more that experience a victimization like that or something similar, and they don't have the support to be able to report. They immediately start blaming themselves. They're thinking through what happened and wondering what they did to contribute to that victimization, and that's more often than not somebody that they know, somebody that they're in a relationship with, somebody that has that level of power and control over them to make them question their own worth. That morning when I called 911, the dispatcher believed me. The detectives, patrol officers that arrived on scene, they believed me. The victim advocates, my roommates, my parents, my brother, believed me. Forensic nurses, doctors, prosecutors, victim advocates, media, friends, family, my entire UNC community at the time, they all started by believing me. And you are going to hear story after story of people who had to fight their way back, to find their humanity, to find something to fight for. And that's hard. I have been called a, quote, perfect victim before, many times. There's no such thing as a perfect victim. I have gone through depression, PTSD, questioning my self-worth. You go down the list of things that could possibly be a product of crime victimization, and I can check every single one off. And I am the best case scenario. It shouldn't be that hard for us. It should not be this difficult, because when we are victimized, we're sentenced to a lifetime. You know, my offender guy, not to get too soapboxy here, was convicted and sentenced to 24 years to life. When they found him 3 weeks afterwards, he was at a neighboring apartment complex picking out his next victim. And already, so this sentencing was in 2007, we have had to attend 3 parole hearings. The math ain't mathin' here, folks. He is eligible to be heard for these parole board hearings to plead his case as to why he should be out in our community. this early. That's something that we don't often think about when we see a headline that a crime like this was committed. We don't think about the aftermath, all of those months and years that follow. But it sticks with us for a lifetime. And I'm lucky. I have support. I have wonderful people in my life who lift me up and remind me that I can keep fighting. But so many people don't. And that's where places like Alternatives to Violence come in. They can be that support system, that stopgap. What you all are doing here today, just by being here and showing your support, is stopping that cycle of silence. It's standing up and saying, this is something that we believe in, and we believe you. You may know some of the statistics. I saw the red flag, green flags. There's no pink flags that we're out to. That can be the beige flag in the middle. But I found that it can be hard, and we can question what someone else is telling us because, well, that's not how I would do it, or that's not what I would do in that situation. But we don't know what we will do until we're in that situation. We don't know how we're going to react. Have you all heard of fight or flight? Yeah? Has anybody heard of freeze? I would hope. Has anybody heard of appease? This is a fourth trauma response. I love that this is now being included in our literature. Appease is one of those responses that I had, and I could not figure out why. I'm talking to this man who's holding me hostage in my bedroom and just trying to make him feel better about himself. I'm telling him it's not his fault. You know, that I probably brought this on. I'd never met this man before. But appeasing is also what we see in so many domestic violence relationships over the course of time. It's not something that happens immediately. There are so many small steps that we all in this room can stand up and say, that's not right. You can intervene. People don't just wake up one day and decide to break in, hold someone hostage, and sexually assault them. We are talking about a lifetime of small little acts that lead up to what we may consider those big crimes. And it's our job here to intervene before it gets there. That's the power that you all have. When you start by believing someone in your life, when they disclose to you that they think something might be off, or, something in this relationship just doesn't seem right, or, hey, I think this might have happened to me, your responses can be, I hear you, I see you, I believe you. How can I help? Knowing that Alternatives to Violence exists in this community is a huge win, because there's a lot of communities where they don't have that type of support. And to be able to call a number or to walk in the doors and say, I need help. I don't know what kind of help. I don't know exactly what's happening, but I know I need help. It's one of the hardest things that a victim or a survivor is going to have to do, but they make it easier. And so again, your support here today is wonderful, but I want you to carry that into your own lives, into being able to believe those survivors. Because it's not gonna be at 8 a.m. on a breakfast morning. It's gonna be that random Tuesday night that somebody shoots you a text, or that you happen to be talking to someone and they say, something just feels off. And you can believe them. I would not be here today, not just physically, but speaking, any of it. I wouldn't be here if people hadn't started by believing me. I want to thank you all, because I've been in your position. I've attended things like this, and the way that you show up for your community, I can't honestly put into words. I'm a professional speaker, and yet it still warms my heart in an overwhelming way, because I had to be that person that was reaching out for help long, long ago. And to know that you are all here still carrying that torch for survivors until we're able to find our own voices means the world to us. So thank you so much. Thank you to Alternatives to Violence, to Carrie, to the board. I adore the work that you do, and I think that what you all have brought to the table here is going to impact more lives than you will ever know. Thank you.
Thank you, Kim, for that message of hope. We're here today to support Alternatives to Violence, but we're also in our community every single day. And so the charge to all of us is to be advocates for our family and our friends, our neighbors, and when we see something in our community, we have the tools to know how to respond. I'm Allison Seebeck, president of the Board of Alternatives to Violence, and I'm here to very quickly do something fun for you. We have a really cool basket of goodies from one of our sponsors, Harmony Wellness. Thank you so much for that contribution. And I have right here a basket full of all of your names. Everyone who registered's name is in this basket. And I'm gonna pick a winner, and that person can take home the wonderful basket from Harmony Wellness. So don't worry, you have to be present to win. So I'm gonna pull a name, and if your name is called, we'll see you back at the back table after this is over. Okay, here it is. Sherry Ruse. Are we here, Sherry? Are we here? Oh, hi. Congratulations. Thank you all very much.
She doesn't look a day over 25, does she? Thanks, Allison. I appreciate that. And congratulations, Sherry. It's a wonderful basket from Harmony Wellness. We are now coming to a close for our wonderful morning. So thank you to everyone who took the time to join us this morning. We're definitely here to raise awareness without question, but we're also here to raise a little bit of money so that we can do this work and help people like Erica and Kimberly. What we are asking this morning is for you to be a part of what Alternatives to Violence is doing to combat violence in the community. Please think carefully about people who are affected in ways discussed by our speakers today or in other ways that can be helped by services from ATV. Every penny donated goes directly to helping victims of violence. Any amount is truly a gift. If you are willing to make a donation, there are table tents on the table cards that show you the different ways you can donate. Checks, cash, or credit cards are all welcome. If you're uncomfortable with leaving your credit card number on the donation envelope, which table hosts, by the way, have donation envelopes if that's easier for some of you than the QR codes or anything like that. Luann and Allie, back in the corner, our fabulous finance team at Alternatives to Violence can run a credit card there or take any donation that you have. Do you see them all back? Raise your hand, Lou. There, back there. They will be more than happy to run your credit card directly. Just please fill out the donation envelope without including your credit card information and bring it to them to run your card. If you're using the donation envelope, please give the completed envelope to your table host or drop it off to a staff member. And so nobody has to battle for these beautiful centerpieces provided by Rose Flowers. The lucky person that has a purple ribbon tied to their chair is the lucky one that gets to take the centerpiece home. So if you have a purple ribbon, it's just so people don't fight about it, but if you want to give it to somebody else, you can. For anyone who'd like more information about Alternatives to Violence, or literature to pass on, please visit us at the back table. We have volunteers back there also. And we do education pieces if you've got somewhere to speak. So most importantly, thank you all so much for being here this morning and have a great rest of your day.